So I feel that this episode pretty much solidifies my opinions on the previous episode. That being that it felt more like a filler episode, and that not much happens that I felt were that important to the overall game. Also, I feel that this episode is where we start seeing the consequences for our choices in the previous episodes, even some of the smaller choices. I also think that this episode could possibly be the most important episode as well, since what happens at the end and the big choice we get there is going to have some massive implications to how the rest of the game goes and possibly even the ending of the whole game. Even though I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point, but in this video I'm pretty much only going to be talking about the story, so yeah, there's your spoiler warning. And lastly, before we get into it, I did stream this over on Twitch, so if you want to see me stream the next episode, go and check me out over there. So if you guys remember from the last episode, you'll know that we randomly stumbled upon this settlement that apparently literally no one knew was there. Like there were no records of it ever existing or anything. So so yeah, once we found it, they gathered the whole crew together to talk about it and plan on how they're going to approach the settlement. It should also be mentioned that we did hear a transmission from the settlement itself, and from what we heard in that transmission, they seemed to be friendly and that they weren't violent. They also sounded like a cult, very much like a cult. And if it isn't obvious, they end up being very skeptical about them and what their intentions are, since, well, cults don't tend to have the best reputation. So what ends up happening is that you and Maya, however you say her name, I still don't know how to say her name. So yeah, you and her end up going to the settlement to try and find someone and try and find out what the deal is with this place. You soon find out that the place is pretty much abandoned. It seems like there's no one in this entire settlement. But what you do find is a lot of dead bodies around the ship, either out in the open in these weird poses, like they're praying or something. Yeah, or they are in these coffins that you find all around the settlement, and sometimes they're in, like, you see like a lot of different coffins in, like, arranged in this like shape of like a symbol or whatever, this cult-like symbol, which is weird. Yeah, and since the settlement is, well, abandoned, there's obviously got to be no power. So yeah, you have to go to different sections of the settlement and power up per each section. And yeah, this is where we get our new gameplay mechanic. This episode, it being junction boxes. There will be these doors around the settlement that need power to open, so you would end up needing to connect all these junction boxes to each other and obviously to the door itself. Well, so you can power the doors, so you can open them and go through. It's a pretty basic mechanic, since it's very much just follow the path to the door that needs opening. But they're adding something. But they're adding something new to doing each episode, so at least they're doing that, right? You do also find out that there is something valuable here, something called an MK core. Apparently, it's quite dangerous, so we kind of just chose to get rid of it, and since it's probably a safer option to do that, yeah, I just think it's probably not worth keeping it around because it apparently is like very dangerous. So I thought, you know what, we're gonna leave that be. We're just gonna not go near it. And now we get to talk about possibly the most important part of the whole episode. Um, you decided what to do with the MK core after you and I was going to say Maya. No, I'm going Maya. Maya, let's go Maya. Talk about it, and you're about to get rid of it when Arlen, which is one of the twins, by the way, turns the corner and points a gun at you, telling you to give him the MK core and that your character cannot be trusted and whatnot, like that usual sort of stuff. You obviously try to talk him out of it, try to tell him it's not worth it, and and it obviously doesn't work. Like he obviously doesn't do anything. He obviously just carries on. Then Rayan, who is the other twin, turns the corner as well, but he didn't realize exactly what his brother was gonna do. I think he was in on the plan, but I don't think he knew exactly what he was gonna do. Like you can see it in his reaction and in the fact that he was surprised of how it was going down, and then he very much disagreed with the way that Arlen is doing it. He didn't want to go down a violent route. He didn't want that. But yeah, this is where Arlen tells Rayan to take your character, Drummer, to the airlock to get rid of her. You know, he obliges, and when he walks over to you, he whispers to you to trust him. And this is where the big choice is. The game gives you a choice of whether to trust him or to fight them. And this is where you're kind of put in a very awkward situation because you don't really know which one to go for. It's kind of difficult to kind of choose one. I went with trusting him. So simply because of the way he reacted. Simply because he could tell he did not want to go through with it. He did not want to go down a violent route. And he very much disagreed with the way that his twin was doing it. So what Rayan did was he took Drummer to the airlock, but before his brother turned up, he handed us a helmet so Drummer could survive, since he didn't want to kill her, so she could survive out in space, obviously, so she didn't die. But yeah, not long after he handed us a helmet, his twin came in dragging Maya with him. To cut a long story short, she ends up getting put in the airlock with us, and since there is only one helmet between the two, only one can survive, unfortunately. And yeah, you can see where this is going. So there's still a couple more episodes to be released. Maya obviously ends up dying. It's actually really sad to see Drummer so broken about it, and seeing Maya sacrifice herself to make sure Drummer could survive. It's actually really sad to see that. Yeah. You see your ship fly away, and obviously you're still there with Maya just dead there. It absolutely sucks. It absolutely sucks. But yeah, that's pretty much where the episode ends, really. And yeah, what happened at the end there could possibly be the most important part of the whole game so far. Like, this could have some massive implications to the rest of the story. This could really change what the rest, what the rest of the game is. Like, since now, Drummer could be really aggressive in the next few episodes. And I think that could very well be a thing. And, I can genuinely see her just being very aggressive, being very violent and just being just a ruthless killer in the next couple of episodes. Because for what happened to her, I can see that being a thing. And this is very much the turning point of the whole story, and it could go a few different ways. It really could. But that's the thing. It's really difficult to kind of see. To kind of like choose, because I reckon I know what some of the choices are, what some of the bigger choices are. But it's going to be kind of difficult to kind of choose how to do things, what to do. But yeah, I think honestly, I don't know really what else to say about it because yeah, I don't want to drag the video out too long. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. So yeah, if you made it this far, obviously like, subscribe, and all the same things you hear every other YouTuber say. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys either on Twitch or in the next video. Yeah, peace.